With the possibility of Power Rangers Dino Fury being the last live-action Super Sentai adaptation, what does this mean for the future of Power Rangers? JulioCoolio and I are going to talk about it. Yo, what's up everybody, it's Este here. Welcome back to another video, and today is a very special discussion video because today we'll be talking about the unsure future of Power Rangers. Myself, along with JulioCoolio, a fellow Power Rangers YouTuber, are going to give you all the deets and all of our ideas and what the future may hold. So don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell. You don't want to miss any single one of my future videos. Only a small percentage of you actually subscribe. So subscribe today, you can always unsubscribe later. Now, to understand the future of Power Rangers, we need to know about the current state. The ratings for Power Rangers Beast Morphers have been the lowest in Power Rangers history, as the general audience for the show moves towards streaming services and are stopping to watch cable altogether. Myself personally, I do not have cable anymore, so I really don't watch Power Rangers that way. I watch it when it shows up on Netflix, or I just see little Twitter clips online. The toy sales for Power Rangers have also been on the downfall in the last 10 years, as we see products rarely moving off the shelves, or you can't find them. But when you do find them, they take a very small place in the aisle. Yes, that is right. Power Rangers just doesn't have a big presence in today's world like it used to. Power Rangers also doesn't receive a lot of love from Nickelodeon, not having tie-ins with other shows, having rare advertisements, and of course that 8 AM time slot isn't really helping much at all. Power Rangers also has a very small slice of Hasbro's attention, as they own more popular brands such as Transformers and My Little Pony, and the possibility of Hasbro splitting with Toei, meaning no more Super Sentai adaptations, as well as the end of a normal Power Rangers formula. So what really is next for the brand Power Rangers? Well, I'll have my friend JulioCoolio say his ideas. Julio, take it away.
Hello everyone, JulioCoolio here, and thanks for having me on, Este. So, there is a lot to unpack here in terms of what the future of Power Rangers could be. And one suggestion I've seen tossed around is for the show to go fully animated. Now, while I think animation should be just a side project for Power Rangers, considering that the core of Tokusatsu is live action, I think animation could be beneficial from a production standpoint for the Power Rangers crew. Without having to use any stock footage or live actors, the show can go in whatever direction it wants. But there are two directions I think the show will specifically aim towards if it goes animated. First, an MMPR reboot based on the comics. So something like Transformers Animated meets Batman the Animated Series. Or second, they could do a show with multiple Rangers from multiple teams, akin to say Justice League Unlimited, where you've had almost everyone from the Justice League. In either way, Hasbro could be able to bring back a bunch of returning actors, since voice lines are just a call away. In fact, that's actually how they recorded most of the lines for Fur from Phineas and Ferb. And even if Power Rangers decides to do animated for like a year or two and then goes back to live action, it still could be unique within the history of Power Rangers. Take for example Ultraman Jonius. While Jonius is an animated series, he still has a live action suit for appearances and stuff, and to match the other Ultras who have appeared in live action.
Now, another idea I've seen floating around is Hasbro just simply taking a break from Power Rangers, only doing it every few years or so. Simply have a show 1 year, like Dino Fury, have it run for a little while, and after it ends, wait a few years to introduce the world to a new team of Rangers. They could fill in these gap years, quote unquote, by promoting comics and movies. As we know, the new Power Rangers movie is coming out pretty soon, and the comics from Boom Studios is also doing pretty good. And this could help the brand, and it'll put more focus into these other mediums. And obviously with that new movie coming out, Hasbro and Paramount are going to want to make Power Rangers a movie franchise, probably more than a television one. Examples seen throughout pop culture such as Star Trek and Dragon Ball can be seen. Star Trek, of course, having their own movies and television shows that rotate every few years in the attention of the public. In the case of Dragon Ball, they would have a show 1 year, such as Dragon Ball Super, and then have a movie the next year, such as Broly. Overall, this could be really good for Power Rangers as it'll overall shift the public's view on the franchise and have them spread throughout different mediums. One year we'll focus on the shows, one year we'll focus on the comics, one year we'll have a movie. It'll spread it out and it'll give the audience and the public the proper attention that Power Rangers deserves.
Now my next suggestion is going to sound pretty insane, but hear me out here for a second, guys. What if, and what if, Hasbro buys Super Sentai? And in fact, we've seen Hasbro do something similar already. For those of you who don't know, Transformers originally came from Japan with Takara's Diaclone and Microman toy lines. And while Takara is still around today, and they've even produced a couple of Toku shows actually, they stopped producing Diaclone and Microman right after Transformers took off. So now they're more in an advisory role of sorts with stuff like designs and stuff. And in fact, you can check out this information on The Toys That Made Us on Netflix. If media companies like Disney buying various studios proves anything, it's that companies want total control. Buying Sentai could give Hasbro that control that they want of the entire brand, inside and out. They would have the rights to use any unadapted shows and create future ones to their whim. And with Bandai Japan out of the picture, they could be able to conquer the Asian market and basically make Power Rangers a completely global brand. Because Power Rangers is only available in the West and in certain parts around the world, but in places like Japan, Thailand, China, they have Super Sentai. So being able to get rid of that market from Sentai and introducing Power Rangers from there, that's what I mean by total global control.
Now here's a really experimental one. What if we just reboot Power Rangers every few years or so? Think about it. How it would work is that each new Power Rangers season would be in a different dimension, an alternate universe completely different from the main timeline. For example, what if Power Rangers Dino Fury takes place in an alternate universe, where the Rangers are the same names as the original 5 Rangers, Jason, Zach, Billy, Trini, Kimberly, etc., but with a Dino Charge-like aesthetic for a new, modern audience. This would bring new life to the franchise and make use of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers lore, but bringing old fans back to watch the reboot while also getting a new audience that will fall in love with this new team of Rangers. And that's all thanks to the Mighty Morphin nostalgia. Now, I know a lot of fans cry about Mighty Morphin nostalgia, like, oh my god, they talk about Mighty Morphin so much, but you guys don't understand that Mighty Morphin is the key to the brand's success. The old people that watch the show aren't going to know about these other shows like, Time Force and Dino Thunder. They're going to know Mighty Morphin, and Hasbro needs to reel them in with Mighty Morphin if we want anything to happen with the brand. Other franchises in pop culture have done a similar thing in the past, such as Transformers with its different timelines in the various shows and movies, Ninjago with its various Lego-themed storylines, Super Mario, like we have Sunshine, he was on the beach, Galaxy, he was in space, and Odyssey, he had a ship, a hat ship, and a hat that talks. I love Mario, by the way. I have a Switch, by the way. I'll put my friend code on the screen. Add me as a friend. We also have TMNT, a sister show to Power Rangers on Nickelodeon, as they had that 2012 CGI series, and also the latest Rise of TMNT show. As we know, TMNT had so many different shows where the characters are in new situations. One of them was just made by Saban, and they teamed up with the Power Rangers. I made a video about that. That was very weird. But think about it. This really could work, and maybe it'll bring past fans back and new fans into the show. Who knows?
My main thought process behind this is that Hasbro could use the unadapted Sentai as spiritual successors or reboots of certain Power Ranger seasons we've seen before. So Kirameiger is basically sort of a fusion between Zeo and Turbo. Kyuuranger can sort of be a new generation of In Space and Lost Galaxy. Toqger with its train Zords could serve as sort of like a sequel to Lightspeed Rescue. Zyuohger with its animal theme equals Wild Force. And Lupinranger could be the counterpart to SPD in this case. Or even Time Force given the Lupinranger's designs with the whole helmet and stuff. And in a way, it's sort of like what comic books do, where you have multiple versions of Spider-Man or Superman per se. So, for example, Kirameiger Red could be Tommy from Earth 2 or something, while Zeo Red is Prime Earth Tommy. And when you think of it, Beast Morphers is basically RPM in the Prime Dimension. Devin and Scott are both Red Rangers with racer car Zords. And both are black males with fathers who have some sort of government power, whether as mayor or a colonel. Zoe and Summer are both blondes who seek to help others for different reasons, but they're also both Yellow Rangers. Nate is basically a fusion between Dr. K's intellect and Gem's gold suit. And Steel in this case would be a fusion of Ziggy, Dylan, and Gemma. Gemma because of the suit, Dylan because he's half robot, and Ziggy for being the comic relief of the show. And while it was kind of hard to find an example for Ravi, the closest thing I came up with is that he has a parent in the military like Scott, and like Finn, he tends to pilot a larger vehicle than the rest of the team. And trust me, that's not even counting the similarities between Evox and Venjix. They're both the same. Dimensions in Danger and Grid Connection open up the idea of a connected multiverse. So Hasbro could use this to make each show feel new, yet keep everything that was still made canon in some way. And going back to the Dragon Ball example that Este mentioned, it's sort of like how GT is technically sort of in its own timeline, while Super is in the main timeline. Overall, I think the future Power Rangers is a bright one. With the Lightning Collection figures and the quality of Beast Morphers, Hasbro is showing that they care about the brand. And while I initially criticized the Illuminati article for a lack of evidence, over time I think it's opened up an interesting discussion about where the franchise can go under Hasbro's control, whether they decide to ditch the live action show or not.
Now, to be honest, I really don't know where this franchise could go. But personally, I think Hasbro's goal with Power Rangers is to make it as big as it was in the 90s, or maybe even bigger. So, really, any decision is gonna be a risk, but hopefully it pays off with a franchise that is back in the spotlight once again. Whatever happens, I know that myself, Julio, and the E Squad and all Power Ranger fans will be there on the way because we love this show so much and we want it to succeed as much as it can.
So thanks again to Este for having me on. This was a really fun video to make. If you guys want more Coolio content, make sure to check out my YouTube channel and my social media accounts at JulioCoolio6. Now I'm gonna go check on the cat that's under my bed.
Snowball! Hi, Snowball! Snowball!
Thank you so much for Julio for joining me, and thanks to everybody else for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Dino Fury on Instagram, not on Fuego.
I'm Julio. Stay Coolio.
I'm Este. Have a great day, and of course, and as always, stay awesome, everybody.